I hope I have my thing in.
And then now we turn it around to blue.
I have my pods in, I think. Let me see.
And
Let me try this
purple.
again. What is that?
It's chalk on it.
Yeah, okay. How about we use the chalk on the ground? Okay, I'm just gonna throw that over there. Then we don't have to worry about it. It's like wood.
But Mommy, that was still pretty, right?
Yes, very pretty. Thank you, baby. Okay, so hi everybody. Okay. For those that I'm gonna make this quick, those of you who may have tuned in yesterday.
I'm LJ, but I found this hat from my mom's closet. So I'm LJ. My name is Jordan too. Oh, and guys, please give a lot of likes on this video. Please, just hope. Please, 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 please.
Well, the likes are not, actually I guess the likes keep the video moving, but the likes aren't as, he don't even want to hear what I gotta say. The likes are not as important as just sharing the information. Yesterday I did a Facebook Live, briefly letting my Facebook friends or my Facebook community know of, you know, where I am in my journey with Alzheimer's as it has been impacting my family, my grandmother, my great aunt, and most recently my mom. And so you can look at my live from yesterday on my page to get a better understanding of like why I'm on here talking about this. But yesterday I mentioned that there was a series that was going to start yesterday surrounding Alzheimer's and more importantly on how you can regain your brain. So now we're talking about how you can reverse, not we, but they're talking about how you can reverse Alzheimer's and dementia. And so I said that I was going to come back in here. I think I said I was going to come back in here yesterday, but my family had a different idea. So I'm back in here today, and I just wanted to quickly kind of recap the notes that I took from yesterday. Jordan, can you do the singing over there, please, babe? So I quickly wanted to come back in here, as I promised, to kind of, LJ, don't ride towards the street when a car is coming, babe. That's why he slowed down, because he didn't know if you were going to go across the street. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. So I wanted to quickly recap what the notes that I took from the video yesterday in case you guys were unable to tune in and to overemphasize. When a car is coming, no. Because if a car is coming and they see a little kid riding down, they don't know if you see them, so they want to stop so that they don't hit you. So you do your part by waiting until the car passes before you ride down the hill, okay? Thank you. My apologies. Hey, Mr. Marsh. So, I'm sorry, guys. So, I just wanted to go over some of the notes that I took from the video yesterday in case you guys were not able to tune in. And like I said in my video yesterday, like, I'm not getting paid to do any of this. I'm not getting any monetary incentive or anything like that. I just feel it on my heart to share this information as it's been shared to me. I'm really proud of my family personally because all of us have promised to tune in, and so even though only one day has elapsed thus far, we've already been discussing all of the great information that's been shared. And so I just want to do my part in putting this information out there because the fact is that Alzheimer's disease should not be the epidemic that it is, and it can be reversed, and there's science to prove that, and not enough of us know that and talk about it. So I have about a page and a half of notes. I attempted to keep it in bullets because that's how I take notes. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not any of that. I am a person who has been just really, really intrigued with this disease because of the impact it's had on my family. And so I just do my best to learn as much as I can in my way. So don't take my word for everything. Go look for this. Go sign up for this series so that you can have access to it as well, and share it with your friends and your family, because we're all impacted by it. So anyway, so yesterday they discussed the following. There are more than 5 million people in America right now affected with Alzheimer's disease, and that number can definitely change. You're not stuck with the brain that you got, but you have to have a plan. We've been taught that like you get to a certain age and then aging starts to happen. And so it's almost like you hit your peak and then now I'm losing my mind. Now I'm having a senior moment. And we say it jokingly, but our society has been trained to really believe that. Well, that's far from the truth. There have been hundreds of drugs created to address Alzheimer's, and they have all failed. That's got to be for a reason. In fact, most recently, I'm adding this part, I did some research on some pharmaceutical companies, and there have been two pharmaceutical companies most recently, I think it was last year or the year before that put out a press release saying that they were no longer going to be producing medication for Alzheimer's. Because why? They've been spending a lot of money on it, and not only has it not been working, but medications have actually been making it worse for some people. So you got to kind of take a step back and ask yourself, like, why, right? So okay, so a lot of these all of these drugs have failed because the focus has been on eliminating beta amyloid plaque. In my video yesterday, I went into further detail about where the whole idea of the cause of Alzheimer's came from, and it was attached to this idea, to the beta amyloid plaque that they started to see on people's brains. And so drugs have been made to attack this beta plaque, but that is not what the cause of Alzheimer's disease is. Half the people with dementia don't have the plaque on their brains. In fact, studies have also shown that they have done dissections of brains. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. I'll just stick with dissections of brains. I was going to say of people who have died. Well, it's kind of hard to dissect the brain to be alive, I guess. But they have done studies on these brains where LJ, please stop. Where they have actually seen brains that have this plaque, but the people did not have dementia or Alzheimer's. So again, we've had data all along the way that really disproved this information, but nobody really did anything about it. Alzheimer's is not one disease. There are many causes to it, which means there can't just be this one magic pill that reverses it. This was interesting for me because while I knew that environmental toxins were extremely important, and like metals and things like that have gotten into your system were extremely important as it relates to your body, but your brain specifically. What I thought was really interesting yesterday is that they discussed toxins and chronic infections can play a huge role in causing Alzheimer's. More specifically, mold. Mold is one of the toxins, one of the biggest toxins that have been impacting people's brain health and causing the memory loss. People who are exposed to mold can have a very bad effect on your brain. Dr. Bredesen wrote a paper on inhalation Alzheimer's disease, and so far studies show that about 70% of the population presented with Alzheimer's were likely impacted by mold toxicity. Like, that was crazy to me. Because what that also to me implies is that there are many of us that are clearly living with mold and not even realizing that. Thus, mold may be a very significant factor. There will be an interview with Dr. Ross on day 5 where she will reveal the best medical way to remove mold toxins. They're called mycotoxins, and the whole rundown on how to diagnose and treat the whole problem. So this, like I said yesterday, this is a 11-day series, 12-day series. Yesterday was day 1. Today is day 2. So on day 5, they're going to be talking more about the mold. Infections are major causes of dementia, and many are not commonly known, such as Lyme disease, parasites from your pets, herpes, parasitic infections. They all can have a major impact on your brain and cause dementia. I'm sorry, because I just didn't know any of that. High blood sugar. So high blood sugar is, so there's insulin resistance or insulin deficiency in the brain is a major cause of Alzheimer's disease. And many people don't know that there are actually 3 types of diabetes. So there's type 1, where people don't make enough insulin. Where people don't make insulin at all. Why do you have a license plate?
Because.
Okay. I don't know why he has a license plate. Sorry. So type 1 is where people don't make insulin at all. Type 2, which is what 95% of Americans who have diabetes have, is when they make insulin, but it doesn't work effectively in the body. And then type 3 is Alzheimer's disease, which is diabetes of the brain. Individuals who do not develop type 2 diabetes may have as much as a 50% reduction in the risk of Alzheimer's disease. That's a lot. Thus, it is really important to manage your blood sugar. Dr. Perlmutter will be discussing this further on day 11. He's going to talk about the research surrounding this that's going on worldwide, and he's going to discuss an extremely important chemical. I kept my notes where I can understand it. So, like the really, really heavy scientific stuff, they didn't really get too scientific, but they briefly spoke about this chemical called BDNF. And I didn't take a lot of notes about what he was talking about with this chemical because they're going to be discussing it in greater detail on day 11. So I figured I'd just hold on with hurting my head trying to follow them until day 11. I'm sorry, y'all, but it's little bugs. And yeah. So he's going to be talking about an extremely important chemical called BDNF, and he will also discuss things that we can do at home for free to boost our BDNF, which my understanding from what he was saying is a chemical that if you boost it can help you to basically get a second chance with your brain. The brain doesn't decline because of one thing. It can be multiple things, so you have to target all of those things. In fact, one of the things that Dr. Bredesen said, was, if you were to try to make a pill for Alzheimer's disease, you would have to satisfy like hundreds of different things, because the reason that one person has it can be like a different combination of things. It could be, it can be, let's say your list is 1 through 100, so it could be 1, 7, 4, 20, 35, 42, and 93, and then somebody else, it could be 20 through 40, and so you can't cure that with one pill. Like, you can't do that. So now we get into hormone imbalance and deficiencies. So that can greatly impact your chances of getting dementia. For example, studies from the Mayo Clinic show that women who have early hysterectomy without hormonal replacement therapy almost double their likelihood of developing Alzheimer's in their life. For instance, estrogen for women and testosterone for men equal memory. And so they can measure these hormones and they can see where your levels are And the good news is they can replace it accordingly. But the problem is that many of us, you know, we don't know where our hormone levels are. In fact, I think a lot of women, once they hit menopause, you kind of, I'm saying it like I don't have menopause yet, but when I hear the conversation, it seems like it's just kind of accepted that, oh, I've hit menopause, oh, I've gotten to this certain point in my life age-wise, so my levels will just be low. No, they're not supposed to be low. If they get low, then you need to get them pumped back up to the levels that they need to be at. It's directly correlated with your memory. So there is a hormone of memory called pregnenolone. Pregnenolone. I know I'm pronouncing this wrong. This is the mother hormone, and it actually makes estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, and cortisol, which is the hormone of stress. Stress plays a large role when it comes to your memory. And I was just talking about this yesterday, that stress is killing us. Stress causes a whole bunch of chronic diseases. And the unfortunate thing is that we are in this state of like stress all the time, and it's throwing our body totally off. In fact, some people will bypass checking out this information and will stress about their job or about this or about that, and little do you know, you're actually killing yourself. And I'm not judging, because I'm in it too. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the culture that we have created here. And this is another reason why I think the conversation about health in general and the importance of really, really honing in on it is so, it's I already said important, but it's so critical. It's so critical. We gotta make time for it. Because if you ain't here, then your bills don't matter. You know what I'm saying? So cortisol can be measured, and it can be balanced. Memory loss is really a multifactorial problem, thus the reason one magic pill has failed. So then they spoke about neuroplastic healing, and I'll name, once I'm done, I'll name all the different doctors that were mentioned. This is all of this information that I took notes on is the result of the host, Peggy Sarlin. She's literally sitting with different doctors talking about each of these topics. So this is where I took notes on their conversations. So all of this information is coming from doctors, and like I said, I'll list the doctors that were shown in episode 1 in case you're like me and you'd like to go and do, you know, additional research. So neuroplastic healing, it's a property of the brain that allows it to change its physical structure and function in response to mental experience and activity, and this can be influenced through light and sound frequencies. They've been doing a lot of studies, and it's been showing that the brain literally, like physically, changes with this therapy, and that people's memory has improved. He gave an example of one guy whose his vision improved, and so they're doing a lot more stuff with this type of therapy. They're also doing this with kids who are autistic. It's been extremely helpful with helping kids who are autistic. So they're going to go into greater detail about this topic on day 9. Brain exercise can help as well. And so it was funny because she was what's the girl's name, Peggy. She was saying, you know, whenever you talk about brain exercise, a lot of people will be like, well, you know, do a word search puzzle, or do not word search, do a cross word puzzle, or, you know, do something like that. And he was like, yeah, no, you can do a crossword puzzle, but that's not exercising your brain, especially since most people who do crossword puzzles are good at crossword puzzles, which goes into my next point. He said, I thought this was so great. When you stop learning, your brain starts dying. In fact, Dr. Danieln Amen said that when you stop learning, your brain starts dying. I might make a t-shirt with that. because I know for me, and as I'm learning this information, what I immediately do is I try to see what of the information they're sharing, where did I see us go in that direction, whether it's me personally or in my family or with my mom. And I'm just gonna be honest, I knew that my mom was really excited to retire. In fact, once my mom retired, one of the things that she prided herself on was, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything at all. I'm retired now. I can sit at home. I don't have to worry about going to work. I don't have to worry about, doing anything. I could just kind of chill out. And, when you've been working somewhere for, 20, 30 years, I understand where having a moment of break is cool. And I think even the term retirement makes you think, just chill out, do nothing. But the more that I think about it, I'm like, man, my mom has been retired for a while now. And she's not the most social person with people she doesn't know, right? So she's comfortable staying at home, playing games on her computer that she's good at, watching her shows, cooking, and that's pretty much, she'll and being about her kids and her grandkids and with my dad. And on a surface level, that sounds cool, right? Like, yeah, I worked all these years so that I could sit back and chill out, but you're not working your brain anymore, really. You're now no longer challenging your brain at all. So now I understand, like, wow, she put herself in a situation, not knowingly, for dementia to really creep in. And so when they started talking about this, they said you have to be doing different things that you have not already mastered. That's exercising your brain. It must be things that challenge your brain. So, learning a new language. Jordan, come on now. I'm talking, okay? Learning a new language, learning to play an instrument, taking up a new hobby, learning something, on the computer, traveling places. LJ and Jordan, take those over there. Thank you. So I just thought that was extremely important, because some of the stuff that they shared goes against the culture that we've allowed ourselves to become accustomed to. And so it's clear that really, to save ourselves, we have to change the way that we behave. So then they got into genetics, and I'm almost done. This is the last part of my notes: genetics and sleep. So genetics, they said, if you have Alzheimer's in your family, like I have it in my family, and I needed to hear this because I've been kind of scared to go and get a test to see where my risk factor is, because I feel like I know where it is, and I don't want to hear it. But I'm learning to come to grips with certain things so that I can make sure that I'm being proactive. So they said if you have Alzheimer's in your family, similar to if you have, high blood pressure in your family, or if obesity runs in your family, or if diabetes runs in your family, it doesn't mean that it's not a death sentence. It's just you have a higher risk, and it should be a wake-up call to you. You don't have to follow in that path, but what you're gonna have to do is not engage in the behaviors that activate those cells, that activate those genetics. And then the last thing, which is something that I admittedly am really, really attempting to get better on, and I am, but I have to get even better, is sleep. Sleep is so important to our health, to our brain health. I had no idea how important. She just fell. I don't want to laugh. She just fell. We're not going to laugh at her because that's not nice. I fell off the scooter. Okay. Are you okay? But you weren't on a scooter, Jordan. All right, let me finish this video. I'm almost done, and then we can go. Sleep is extremely important. Now, as a child, I hated going to sleep because I always felt like I was going to miss out on everything. I don't know what I thought I was going to miss out on because most of the time everybody else was asleep. So I don't know what I thought was going down. But sleep, I really have had a negative relationship with sleep since I was younger. My mom, growing up, my mom went to bed late and was the first one up in the morning. And so she didn't have healthy sleep habits. I feel like she has healthier sleep habits now, but I know she didn't have good sleep habits then. My sister Kim, I don't know how Kim's sleep habits are, but Kylie probably has the best sleep habits of all of us. Like when she's tired, she goes to bed. So sleep, improper sleep or not enough sleep can seriously bring on dementia. Your risk goes up tremendously. Sleep is a brain tonic. Sleep quality is extremely important. So we're not just talking about, I'm sorry, my leg is like falling asleep. So clearly we're not just talking about the length of time, but we're also talking about the quality of sleep. This is the time when the brain, does housekeeping. It literally cleans and washes itself, and it moves short-term memory to where long-term memory is stored. So when you're not getting great sleep and you're great restorative sleep, or you're not getting, which means you might not be getting enough sleep, or you're not getting good quality sleep, you might find that you can't even really remember like what you did yesterday. You know what I mean? And the other thing that I didn't know, they didn't say this yesterday, but in my research, I've come across this, which is why the whole idea of intermittent fasting is important, and cutting off the last time you eat. I think they said at least 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed, is that when you eat something, all of the blood, like all of the focus goes to the digestion in your stomach, and it can't do that and go to your brain at the same time. And I just said that sleep is when the brain does its housekeeping. So if you eat too close to going to bed, then all of the energy, all of the stuff that would be going to the brain to do its house cleaning is going to your stomach. So even if you get the sleep, you're not getting the optimal, you're not optimizing it, if that makes sense. Okay, so hold on. This is the time. Okay, so it does washes. I'm almost done, y'all, and move short-term memories. Okay, our brains need to go through the 4 stages of sleep in order to do what it needs to do. If you don't stay asleep for at least 2 to 3 hours at a time without waking up, the brain's work doesn't get done. And you have to go through the complete 4-stage cycle several times a night to maintain optimum brain health, which is at least like 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night for an adult. When you don't have good restorative sleep, it drives up your blood sugar, and we already said that that Alzheimer's is type 3 diabetes. See, there's the correlation once again. So Dr. Michael Bruce, now this is all the other doctors were medical doctors. This doctor, he has his PhD, will be talking about how you can rejuvenate your brain with better sleep on day 4, and he focuses on circadian rhythm, which is our internal biological clock. And there are about 3 to 4 different types of rhythms out there. And he said once you find out what your rhythm is, you can pretty much figure out what the right time of day is to do whatever you want. Like he can determine the best time of day for you to go ride your bike, for you to, be in your creative mode, for you to eat, for you to sleep, for you to do all these different things can be determined by your circadian rhythm, which ultimately will help you to have a great night's rest, because if you know when you should do what, then by the time it's time for you to go to sleep, you're ready to go. He will also talk about sleeping pills, medications, and if they're really needed, as well as sleep apnea. So those are the notes that I took from yesterday. I don't know if you can still get to yesterday's video. I'm almost sure you can't, because what they're doing is every day you have 24 hours to watch the video, and then they move on to the next one. That's, you know, so that we can get through the whole series. So like I said, day 2 is already out today. I watched about 10 minutes of it. It's about an hour and 5 minutes long, so I'll do that once I get back with my kids from eating. But the link that I put in here will lead you to a page where you can sign up for the series. Like I said, I don't know what happens if you didn't start on day 1 and you click the link, because I already started, so I can't tell you specifically. I can't promise you, but I want to believe that if you click the link, you get to start where we are, which is at day 2. So please click the link. It's free, y'all. Like, this information is free. The information is free. They're not paying me to do this. They don't even know I'm doing this. The information is free. I would love for y'all to click the link, tune in. Let's talk about day 2 tomorrow. I'm going to do my best to take some notes from day 2 and talk about them tomorrow before I, you know, watch day 3. But I just want to overemphasize the importance of it. Even if it's not impacting you directly, it's impacting your family. And even if it's not impacting you today, if you don't make changes in your lifestyle, assuming that there's changes to be made, because some of us might already be doing everything we need to be doing, but for those of us who may not be, and not even because you don't want to, because you just may not know, this is extremely important. Like, this epidemic, I don't even want to call it that because it shouldn't be, but right now it is an epidemic, is really, really on pace to take out a lot of people by 2050. So this is like the time for us to make the change. This is the time to do it, and you absolutely can. So that said, I am going to sign off. I hope that this has been helpful to you guys, and I will be back tomorrow. Please don't forget to click the link and sign up, tune in. Let me know your thoughts. If you take notes, come in, share, post your own video, tag me. Like, let's keep this conversation going. Let's keep this conversation going. All right?
Subscribe to our channel, Spencer Kids.
Yeah, if you go... Little plug, if you go to spencerkids.org, you can subscribe to their YouTube channel. But other than that,
get us to 100 subscribers, please. We're only at 7, so.
Yeah, so help them out. Help the Spencer Kids out. All right, guys, I love all of y'all. Even if I don't know you, I love you, because we're all connected at the end of the day. And so everybody have a great Sunday, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.